creativity, ideas, innovation, change, leadership development, youth in entrepreneurship. Only on
Radio Reeyaz 96.8 MHz.
Good evening and namaste. Welcome to a brand new episode of Youth in Entrepreneurship Season 2. You are listening to Radio Reeyaz 96.8 MHz. I am Asna, your radio host. This program is co-sponsored by Utsa Learning Center and it airs every Sunday from 9 to 10 p.m. Youth in Entrepreneurship is a radio talk show where we interview and share stories of entrepreneurs and attempt to understand the current scenario of entrepreneurial business in Nepal. The main objective of this show is to promote innovative ideas of a younger generation. Today we have with us Mr. Suyog Dhakal on Youth in Entrepreneurship. He is a freelance writer, a program coordinator and an interfaith trainer at Sakriya Sath, a non-governmental organization. Let me welcome Mr. Suyog on Youth in Entrepreneurship. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
You are a program coordinator at Sakriya Sath. So you coordinate and direct Nepal's first innovative and child-friendly radio show, Sabina Ra Punteko Katha. Can you tell us more about it? What does it revolve around?
Yeah, I mean, we used to translate child stories before, and there is a doctor in child psychology from Britain. Her name is Dr. Kristen Tipper, and I used to work with her translating stories before. As she came to Nepal, and we sat together to think about other alternate options where we can give more lessons to children, and we came up with an idea of starting a radio cartoon. I mean, when we were young, we used to watch televisions and cartoons, and when we go to remote areas of Nepal, there are no such televisions and they're not privileged enough to watch cartoons every day, so why not giving the feel of cartoon through radio? And then we came up with this option and we started radio cartoon.
Okay,
and that's how
So what does this show revolve around? The characters and everything, the theme?
Yeah, Sabina is a normal lady, and she is a girl child, and Punti Hathi is an elephant, and the both of them, they study in the same school, and they love adventures, and we try to portray the messages those are not being incorporated in mainstream curriculum of Nepal. I mean, the message of hope, the message of happiness, the message of moral relations, that you need to respect your parents, and the message, those are not incorporated through education.
Okay, so does it air every week, or how the episodes?
Yeah, it airs every week. 14 mainstream radio stations throughout the nation, and we also accompanied by this Hamro Patro, the most downloaded mobile application in Nepal. It has its own online radio. It's called Khoji Radio, and they also present our radio, Sabina and Punti Hathi, to 12 million plus downloads users.
So was it difficult when you had to start the radio show? I mean, where did you find the characters and
some difficulties are very sweet, and those were the sweet difficulties at the time. Previously, I used to work for Sathi Sangha Manka Rights, United Nations funded radio project, and I had some subtle experience of organizing radio programs before, and we sat together to find out a character that every child could relate to. And this, I mean, Sabina was originally Blanca, because Christian Tipper wrote it and sent it to us. And Blanca, she cannot write her name, and every time when she writes her name, she lost every alphabet. B is lost, and she goes to bird and asks B and comes back. Okay. We had to translate it in Nepali, and I come up with an option, Sabina. And because Sabina, I mean, they get it from Sarpa. B, they get it from Biralo. No, from Neauri Musa, and one stick, they made it Na. So this is how we came up with. And Hathi, I mean, everybody loves elephant. It's my favorite animal since I was young, and why not? I mean, making an elephant, because every time when we talk about radio drama, there is no any fiction. There are people, there are characters. So we will try to bring Punte Hathi as an elephant. There is a Lucas who is a unicorn. And all
Interesting.
all over.
So how long has it been?
It's been almost 1 year.
1 year. How has the public responded to it?
I mean, I since I left Sathीसँग मनका कुरा, I was in gap. I made a gap for my masters, for my study, and I came back through Sabina and Punte Hathi. And I'm a narrator over there. I narrate things, and when I go outside, I mean, people kind of know me, and even from the mainstream projects, mainstream radio projects, there are so much of nationwide radio projects, and we don't have enough funds to send evaluator to fields and get the feedback from them. But when other projects, people go to the field and they come up with and feedback of Sabina and Punte Hathi, I mean, they're doing good.
So you're also an Interfaith trainer at Sakriya Sath. So as an Interfaith trainer, what are your major responsibilities?
First of all, I mean, faith. I'm a free thinker, almost an atheist, and interfaith basically means the connection of different faiths and bring all people in a common ground where nobody are differentiated on the base of the faith that they believe to. And my major responsibilities were, for 1.5 years, I studied the major scriptures of four faiths: Hindu, Islam, Christian, and Buddhist. And we made a curriculum. It's one, parenting or journey of love for every parents who have kids. Another one is my life is starting now for every teenagers. And we extracted the scriptures from there and made a common ground through those training manuals. And I also train people with the scriptures that I have learned.
Okay. You also worked closely for the ICCO Coalition for HIV and SRHR Nepal, which had its partners like United Mission to Nepal, Lutheran World Federation, INF Palua, to name a few. What did you work on?
It was about HIV/AIDS. When we talk about HIV/AIDS in Nepal, it's been like in this 1.5 decade, we have passed through so many narrow and wide corridors. That was an epidemic back then, and now it's a concentrated epidemic. Less than 1% of the total population is infected and affected by the disease, and they are among concentrated risk groups. So I worked for India going migrants to leverage their campaign of rights to make the government responsible to address the issues of India going migrants, because they accounted a larger number of HIV infected people's portion in Nepal. And I also work as a business development officer for all these organizations to write proposals and to develop projects, gather funds to stimulate and magnify the campaigns that we're leading.
So we were talking about your radio show, Sabina ra Punteko Katha. So how did you collect the capital for it?
As I work for Sakriya Sath, and our major motive is create an awareness where nobody ever thought of. And we collect the capital through a British organization. It's a project. It's called World of Words. So I'm a writer. Basically, I write proposals. I wrote a proposal and sent it to them. This is my idea, and this is how I'm going to carry. This is the charges or probable, approximate, anticipated cost that you need to bear. And they're so much convinced with that proposals, and they send it to us.
Okay. You also produced the world-famous youth radio show Sathीसँग मनका कुरा, which was sponsored by UNICEF Nepal. How was the overall experience?
It was really nice. I used to work in a hospital as a receptionist before joining Sathीसँग मनका कुरा. I was not happy with what I was doing at the time, and I looked this newspaper, Delhi, and I saw an internship opportunity for Sathीसँग मनका कुरा.
Okay.
The flip of second, I applied for it, and they called me, fortunately, and we had a nationwide, competition, and And for 6 months we had to do internship. Fortunately, I topped the internship.
Oh, nice.
And it was nice. It was really nice to address millions of Nepali people through you. And at the time, radio was really popular. People used to listen to us whenever we go outside. They used to know us through our voice. And still there are people who knows me, Suyog, as Sati Samantakur as Suyog. And being a teenage myself, I was really happy, overwhelmed to address the issues that I faced myself. The letters, those used to address me, and I was like, I was a love guru at the time. People used to send me love messages, love queries, and I had spent my 2.5 years of my precious life reading and trying to give answers to all those love queries. It is nice.
Is there any one conversation you had with any one of the listeners which you really remember and cherish?
Yeah, in the World Cup before this World Cup football, I was at Beni, and I was there to train FM stations producers, and after I came to Pokhara, I hired a bike. I went there. I was so tired, and that was the first day of World Cup. And I was provided an opportunity to be a guest in the local World Cup station. Unfortunately, what happened is there was a big storm, and all that cinema hall was there. And it was out of use. Everything were messed up, and I couldn't go to see that World Cup. And at the night, I was drunk, because on that tragedy, that I couldn't see World Cup. And whole the night, there were 2 of my listeners who called me, who came to my hotel and didn't let me sleep.
Okay.
I was drinking. And we had to hide that we drink because they would follow us. And at 2:00 at night, those were 2 radio program producers. I sat with them and we talked, and I tried to give a drunk guy, tried to give so many love suggestions. And that was one of the, sweet yet traumatic night. So apart from Sakriya Sath, is there anything that you are currently involved in? Any other projects or ventures? Yeah, I was involved in a political party. Not as a candidate, but to individually assess the thing that they did for earthquake relief. And I'm also involved in this Israel Aid, and we are producing radio programs for them. I'm also involved in CRS, Catholic Relief Service, and we just finished a radio program called Pariko Putali, and it's about a doll of a princess. And when the earthquake was there, she lost her doll. She left her doll inside the house, and it is destructed. Every time when there is aftershock, she cries because her doll is there inside in her house. And this is how we try to play with child psychology, giving so much of messages. And this radio program is going to be on air across the Nepal, probably from next week.
So after the disastrous earthquake earlier this year, you self-initiated a radio show Music for Hope to reinstall the lost hope and happiness in people's lives. So how did the public respond to it?
It was nice. The first time when I did this Music for Hope, we offered for phone calls, and that was a really traumatic time in every people around Kathmandu Valley, because nobody could stay inside their home, and everybody were outside. So traumatic. I couldn't see any smiling faces, and unfortunately there were 3 phone calls. And I'm not a musician. I had to call musicians, and there are so much of volunteer musicians trying to come and hook up in that program. There are so many there are a couple of radio programs outside Kathmandu Valley who are trying to broadcast these programs through their frequencies, despite we had no money to pay them. So it was nice.
So for how long did you run the show?
Before Dasai.
Okay.
And we were so overwhelmed with this Nakabandi. Earthquake was something out of box.
So till now, were there any criticisms or challenges and hardships that you had to face?
Yes, there are so many. So many of criticisms. The main criticism that I face is you're so the writings that I come through are so experimental. There are a couple of times when I asked to write proposals, and they pay me so much for that, and not regularly, and I come up with an idea of just writing for 2 pages of proposal, and when I go there, deliver the things that they needed, and they would say, for 2 pages, it's not practical. So those are the things, and especially in my writing, for example, Sabina and Punte Hati, it's been written by Kristen Tipper Steele. There's so much of fiction that I try to introduce in this script, and there are a mass of people who are not able to digest that. Even in Poriko Putali, there are so much of fictions that I've tried to introduce, and people really do not like it, a group of people. So those are the criticisms that I face frequently.
Okay, so how do you handle those criticisms?
It's nice if somebody is criticizing you. You're progressing somehow.
And while you come up with new ideas for the radio scripts, and some people, as you said, may not be okay with it, how do you handle that?
Well, fortunately, my internal team, they do not question the things that I try to introduce.
Okay.
Or if they do it indirectly. So, and the outside people, if they criticize something, I would rather expect for constructive, creative criticism. It's not about this is bad or this is not good. It should be about what would make it more
better.
good, what would make it better, what would make it easy enough to accept for you. And so this is how I try to handle criticism, and it's working.
Now let us talk more about the entrepreneurial scenario in Nepal. So what do you have to say about the entrepreneurship scenario in Nepal?
Entrepreneurship has been old-fashioned in Nepal. Because there is a mass of people who are trying to establish themselves as an entrepreneur. And there is a big difference between being an entrepreneur and living as an entrepreneur. Because entrepreneurship is all about making a legitimate profit, creating employment, and bringing a positive impact in society. But rather, there are so many of friends in Nepal, they're trying to just establish themselves as an entrepreneur. And I feel really proud to be an entrepreneur.
So, what do you think are the flaws and challenges that our young entrepreneurs are facing?
It's all about experience. People are guided by their dream, the dream of being an entrepreneur, making so much money, going outside abroad, making good girlfriends, eating in a good restaurant, and showing their parents and society that they have earned a lot. Entrepreneurship is not only about that, it's about experience. For example, if my father runs a school, then it's really easy for me to run that school. Even when I see that toilet, I can think about it and run it. But doing something of your own as an entrepreneur, there are a lot more challenges. First, you shouldn't be scared of falling down. You shouldn't be scared of being broken into pieces. Make yourself so strong that you join everything and become an entire people. Come up with a new hope and keep trying and keep trying. And do not repeat the same mistake because you'd be stupid. Repeat new mistakes. Do not fear of mistakes. And try to see things from a different angle that nobody have ever seen. There's always a shortcut. And life is so long, you need success.
So you said you're proud to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So what do you think makes you a good entrepreneur?
I'm on my way to be a good entrepreneur. I think the relation that I make with people, the communication pattern, and the perspective which helps me to find a gap which nobody has ever seen and try to feel it through my ideas.
Through your ideas.
That
So those are basically your strengths.
might be.
Let's talk about your weaknesses. What do you think are your weaknesses?
My weakness is, I cannot get up early in the morning, and there are so many things that I need to do in the morning. If somebody calls me at 7 o'clock, please be there. I feel awful. and there are things, I mean, I cannot go outside my ideology, outside my philosophy. I cannot market. I mean, I'm working in media, and there are so many projects which ask me to market certain political party, certain idea, certain religion. I'm not doing it. And an entrepreneur should be so neutral. They should be able to do everything. And sometimes I think I'm too guided. I'm too rigid by my ideologies. So that's my fundamental weakness these days.
Are you doing anything to work on it? Your weaknesses?
Yeah, I'm trying to meditate.
Okay. So we talked about the flaws and challenges that the entrepreneurs are facing.
Yeah.
So what should they work on more?
Entrepreneur, I mean, there is no reading pattern in Nepal. The first thing is they should visit places. You cannot be an entrepreneur just sitting inside a room or I mean a single city. You need to visit places and see what's happening over there, because opportunities are not just around you. And another thing is you need to do research. You need to meet people, new people, and you need to study. I not only books, I mean there is Google, there are internet, and just try to find out what's happening over there and what's not in your part of world, and try to fill it.
So according to you, what are the 3 most important things a young entrepreneur should really have? The 3 qualities.
3 qualities, right? I'd say first one, keep trying. Second one, do not afraid of mistakes. Third one, do not forget about 2 points.
So what are your plans and visions for the future?
That's where I lack, because I'm so entangled with present situation that I'm not been able to plan for future. But I think I would try to bring a revolutionary campaign through Nepalese medias. I will try to write about the things those are not been addressed. I will try to dig on the issues those are always under the shade, down the basement where nobody ever tried to look. I will try to talk about hope and happiness. I will try to talk about the basics of world, and I will try to spread my message worldwide. I'll do it one day.
Good luck.
Thank you.
So we are pretty much acquainted with the professional side of Mr. Suyog. So what do you do during your free time?
These days, I mean, I have my friends who work for me, and those are Ashish Karki, Bikal Karki, Mandeep Gautam, Shyam Sundar Baskota, Santosh Devkota. These are my team, and everything is well gone into channel, and there are less work that I do for my projects. But when I'm free, I try to write concept notes in upcoming ideas, and try to forward it to potential prospective donors, and then I try to meet my friends, and I'm a big fan of YouTube. I watch conspiracy theories and some of the series. I mean, I'll just look after that and pass out the time.
What has been your greatest lesson, your one of the greatest learning in your life?
Life is pretty much still left, and till now my greatest learning is keep exercising. Probably I've never thought about the question that you asked. I mean, very nice question. Probably I should be thinking for the next time. But I think it's all about exercise, the mental exercise, physical exercise, and social exercise. You need to perform every day to walk stride higher.
So now we are going to have a quick fire question and answer round.
Sure.
So are you ready?
Think so.
Okay. I'm just going to tell you some things, and you have to tell me the first thing that strikes your mind.
Cool.
Suyog Dhakal.
Black.
Suyog Dhakal as an entrepreneur.
Innovative.
Radio.
Hope.
Sabina ra Punteko Katha.
Dream.
Youth and entrepreneurship.
Fashion.
Passion. साथीसँग मनको कुरा.
Memory.
Fun.
Cycling.
Writing.
Stories.
Nepal.
Tarai.
Okay, so who has been your greatest inspiration in life?
Dog. We had a dog when we were at village, and I grew up in a hostel. Every time when I go to my village, what happened is my dog used to come to me, and I shouldn't be. I was not so much. It was not compulsory to remember when his birthday was.
Okay.
Without any expectation, he would come to me with his tail. Twisting it, and every time when I went back from my home, he used to be my best friend. Without any expectation, even though I used to kick him, he used to come to me without barking. So I thought life should be like that. Without any expectation, you should be able to be a dog. Because life keeps on hitting you every time. Make sure you twist your tail.
That was interesting. Is there any story that you'd like to share with us?
Story of stupidity that I had. There are so many stories. There are so many stories that I do not know. I know every time when I go to my village. I was studying in a class 6, and that was the first year when I came back to my home and tried to study from my home itself. And my elder brother, he always saw me not studying and not doing homework. I was just playing with Mario games at the time. We used to have black and white television Mario games, and my brother came to my school. No, before he asked me why you're not doing any homeworks, I said no, there are no any homeworks. And unfortunately, the day after, he came to my school and he talked to my principal. Principal called my class teacher, and he was so a strict guy. And they called me. And the class teacher was so, I was so insane not doing homeworks every day. And he called me. My brother was there. Both of them slapped my face at the same time, and I still remember the loud roar of that slap. And now I feel so energized after remembering it, but that time it was trauma for the next 3 years, I guess.
Okay, so moral of the story is
keep lying yourself.
We're almost at the end of our show today. So is there any advice or suggestion that you'd like to give to the younger generation?
Yeah, there are a group of people I could see with an average dream of going outside. I would say even an infant who is born as a Nepali in a Nepali family would dream of going abroad when he is young. This country is not a nursery. Where small plants are grown and they go outside in other lands to give fruits. So there are so much of opportunities, and the thing that we are lacking is the way to look after it. And I also never thought I would sustain myself by writing and by making radio programs. And it happened. So there are so many opportunities. Stay here. It's not only about TOEFL and IELTS that you're going to do over there. Going outside, posting Facebook pictures and showing that you're happy is lying yourself. Come be true to yourself. Come do something together. It's really nice to be in your country. That's what.
We had a really enlightening conversation today, and I'm sure our listeners must have been really inspired after listening to your stories and might want to be in contact with you and your organization. So is there any contact information that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Our post box is 10,116 Kathmandu, Nepal, Sakriya Sath. And you can also email us in sakriyas@gmail.com. sakriyas@gmail.com.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you with us today on Youth in Entrepreneurship.
It's my first time interviewing as an entrepreneur, and I'm really nervous. Thank you very much for giving me this chance. Thank you.
If you have any queries or suggestions regarding the show, or if you are a young entrepreneur yourself who would like to be interviewed on the show, you can write to us. You can message us on our Facebook page, Youth in Entrepreneurship, or email us at youthinentrepreneurship@gmail.com. You can also call us on our number 4670820. You can also like our Facebook page and join our group Radio Reeyaz 96.8 MHz. You can also hear our shows on YouTube. Thank you so much much for listening to Youth in Entrepreneurship, co-sponsored by Utsa Learning Center. I'd like to thank our concept director Abhilasha Rayamajhi and our technical support Ashish. We will be back again next week with yet another amazing guest. Till then, take care and have a wonderful week. Namaste.